Halloween is supposed to be a night of costumes, laughter, and harmless scares. But for some people, it has become the setting of genuine horror, moments that went beyond pranks or imagination and slipped into the realm of nightmare, like the story of Claire, a high school student who went trick-or-treating with her younger brother in their small neighborhood. The streets filled with the usual sounds of laughter, plastic candy buckets rattling, and porch lights glowing. Yet as the night went on, she noticed a man dressed in a scarecrow costume standing perfectly still on the front porch of a darkened house, his straw hat pulled low, his gloved hands hanging stiffly, and she assumed he was just another decoration until after they passed. Her brother whispered that the scarecrow had turned its head to watch them, and every street they went down afterward, she noticed the same scarecrow figure standing farther away, sometimes leaning against a tree, sometimes at the corner of the block, always watching, but never walking where anyone could see. And when she finally confronted it, mustering the courage to shine her flashlight, she found the porch behind the figure completely empty, no house lights, no candy bowls, and when she blinked the scarecrow was gone. Yet her brother screamed and pointed behind her, where in the faint moonlight the figure now stood in the middle of the street, only a few feet away, and they ran home without looking back. But even after Halloween ended, Claire admitted she sometimes saw that straw-hatted figure out of the corner of her eye when walking home from school, though it always vanished before she could confirm it. Another story comes from a group of college friends, Ethan, Maya, and Chris, who decided to spend Halloween night exploring an abandoned farmhouse rumored to be haunted, driving out to the countryside with flashlights and snacks, laughing nervously as they pushed open the rotting front door, the smell of mildew and damp wood hitting them immediately. And inside they found old furniture covered in dust, broken picture frames, and strange symbols carved into the walls. But the deeper they went, the colder the air became, their breath visible even though it was a mild October night. And in one of the upstairs bedrooms, they discovered a closet door shut tight, scratches etched deep into the wood as though someone had tried to claw their way out. And when Chris joked about opening it, Maya dared him. But as he reached for the handle, a loud knock came from inside, 3 deliberate pounds that echoed through the empty room, and the 3 bolted down the stairs. But before they reached the door, every window in the house slammed shut at once, trapping them in darkness as the air filled with the sound of heavy footsteps above, pacing back and forth directly where they had just been. And in terror, they scrambled through a broken window and ran to the car, leaving the farmhouse behind. But when they got back to campus and checked the pictures Maya had snapped inside, one showed a pale figure standing in the corner of the room behind them, tall and gaunt, its eyes 2 hollow pits staring straight into the camera, something none of them had seen while they were there. And to this day, none of them have ever returned to that farmhouse. The third story belongs to an older man named Robert, who remembered one Halloween decades ago, when he was a teenager in the 1970s, back when people still told ghost stories by firelight and warned each other not to wander too far on mischief night. And that year, he and a group of friends dared each other to walk through the cemetery on the edge of town at midnight, carrying flashlights and trying to act brave as the autumn wind rattled the trees and dried leaves crunched underfoot and halfway through the rows of headstones. Robert's flashlight beam caught what looked like a woman standing near one of the graves, dressed in a long white gown that fluttered even though the air had gone still, her hair hanging down to cover her face. And assuming it was just another thrill-seeker in costume, they laughed and shouted. But the figure did not move, and when they got closer, Robert noticed that her feet weren't touching the ground at all, her gown trailing slightly above the grass, and suddenly her head snapped up, revealing a pale, expressionless face with black hollow sockets where eyes should have been. And the boys screamed and ran, but Robert tripped on a broken stone and fell, glancing back to see the woman gliding toward him at unnatural speed, her mouth opening wide as though to scream, though no sound came out. and his friends pulled him up just in time, dragging him out of the cemetery. And when he turned back at the iron gate, the figure was gone, though the grave she had stood beside was later discovered to belong to a young woman who had died on Halloween night decades earlier in a car accident, and locals still whisper that her spirit wanders the cemetery searching for company each year. These 3 stories, Claire's terrifying encounter with the scarecrow that wouldn't stop following her, the college friend's brush with something unholy in the abandoned farmhouse, and Robert's chilling glimpse of the ghostly woman in the cemetery, capture the essence of Halloween as more than just a holiday of costumes and candy, reminding us that for some, the boundary between fun and fear blurs in ways that can't be explained, and while most people go to bed that night with full candy bags and sore feet, others are left with the kind of memories that creep back every October when the air grows cold, the leaves fall, and the shadows lengthen, whispering that Halloween is not only about pretending to be scared, but about being reminded that the world really can be far darker and stranger than we want to believe.